So we got two of the most iconic green superheroes going head to head. Hulk versus Yoda. Who wins? Well, let's find out. After being bombarded with a massive dose of gamma radiation while saving a young man's life during the testing of an experimental bomb, Dr. Robert Bruce Banner was transformed into the Incredible Hulk, a green behemoth who is the living personification of rage and pure physical strength. Now, Hulk is physically one of the strongest beings in the Marvel Universe, and has done some truly incredible things throughout the years. He supported a 150 billion ton mountain range, matched two Avengers teams for a while, overpowered Thor on multiple occasions, pushed spheres of matter and antimatter apart, held the tectonic plates of a planet together, destroyed an asteroid twice the size of Earth in one punch, destroyed planets and moons in the Dark Dimension, crushed adamantium in his bare hands, and destroyed Nightmare's realm with his sheer power alone. The thing is, all these feats are nowhere near Hulk's limits, because Hulk doesn't really have any limits. Hulk's strength is tied into his emotions, and more specifically his rage, which leads to the saying that the angrier Hulk gets, the stronger he gets. Hulk also has impressive superhuman speed, despite his immense size. He can run up to 300 miles per hour, catch fighter jets and missiles with his bare hands, and his punches can exceed the speed of sound, as evidenced by the air shockwaves that he produced. Hulk is also able to jump so fast and high that he can reach orbit. Then Hulk also has superhuman durability, able to resist a ground zero explosion, human to resist a nova blast, planet-shattering impacts, and a blast from Galactus. And while it is possible to damage the Hulk, he has the greatest healing factor in the Marvel Universe, and can recover and heal from literally any injury. Then in the corner of Yoda. Yoda is one of the greatest Jedi Grand Masters of the Old Republic. He trained Luke Skywalker in the ways of the Jedi, and has even faced characters like Count Dooku and the Emperor, and lived to tell the tale. Despite his incredibly advanced age and really small size, Yoda is an extremely powerful and skilled Jedi Master. I mean, he's one of the most skilled lightsaber duelists and Force users in the history of the galaxy. He's amazingly skilled in lightsaber combat, and was even recognized as the greatest Jedi duelist of his time, despite having been trained as a Jedi Consular, which is someone who focuses more on the Force use. He's known to be the only Jedi who could best Mace Windu and Count Dooku in a fight, and is one of the few who was able to fight on equal footing with Darth Sidious. Yoda's gone through extensive training in all 7 forms of lightsaber combat, and achieved full mastery and knowledge of all their stances and techniques. So his most preferred style, though, is Form 4, which he's particularly skilled in as it allows him to compensate for his limited size and stature. Despite his small size, he's displayed amazing speed and dexterity, and a lot of his lightsaber fighting relies on jumps and acrobatics, further augmented by his mastery of Force Valor, which is a Force ability that increases someone's speed and accuracy. However, even though he's a very skilled fighter, Yoda at his core is a Force user. In fact, he's so powerful in the Force that he can rival Darth Sidious and even surpass Anakin Skywalker, because even though Anakin has more potential, Yoda has much more experience and maturity in the Force. He's an extremely skilled in telepathy, being able to cast mind tricks that can manipulate pretty much anyone, delve into someone's head, and even manipulate their memories. He's also got extraordinary skill in telekinesis. Yoda can easily lift and move X-Wing fighters, stop strikes in mid-air, is a master of the Force Push and Force Wave to destroy droids and enemies, and also adapted using a saber throw. However, despite his great power and skill as a warrior, Yoda is shown to strongly dislike combat in general, and was even a bit disdainful of the idea that greatness could be achieved through martial prowess. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now this is a more out there fight, I'll admit it, but I'm excited for it anyways. Because the thing about this fight is that Hulk and Yoda are such different characters and such different fighters. Hulk is a giant behemoth who's all about gamma-radiated muscles and pure physical strength. With that being said, he's not that intelligent, it's all just about smashing. On the other hand, Yoda actually isn't much of a fighter, but he's actually an incredibly powerful Force user and is still incredibly skilled with his lightsaber blade. So obviously, Hulk can squash Yoda with just one hand. No real question about that. However, there are some questions we need to answer. Can Yoda cut Hulk with a lightsaber? And can Yoda telepathically control the Hulk? So the first thing we should take a look at is what exactly is a lightsaber. Lightsabers are a plasma blade powered by cyber crystals, and the beam is stabilized by a containment force field. This means that heat is transferred through conduction, not radiation. So if you put your hand near the blade, you wouldn't feel anything, but you would feel the heat if you were actually touched. So no heat is actually emitted from the blade. That stores the question of how hot the blade actually is. Well, it's been able to cut through all types of metals in the Star Wars universe, even cutting through Durasteel blaster doors that were designed to withstand laser blasters. End of the day, in our universe, a constricted plasma arc, which is about as close to a lightsaber as we're going to get, can reach temperatures ranging from 14,000 degrees to even 45,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's insanely impressive and insanely hot. 45,000 degrees is like 4 times hotter than the surface of the sun. However, there are some things in the Star Wars universe that a lightsaber has more difficulty cutting through. The Zilla Beast hide can't be penetrated by a lightsaber. The elite Praetorian Guard was able to resist lightsaber strikes with their gauntlets, but a direct stab could still penetrate the armor. And then Mandalorian iron was a specifically crafted steel that could provide protection from slashes and blows, but just like the Praetorian Guard, a direct blow or enough prolonged exposure can still make it through. And it's really possible that Hulk is on that same level of durability. He's taken Iron Man's blast just fine, waded through liquid lava, held up to Human Torch's Nova Blast, and on top of that, he's able to regenerate from pretty much everything, even having 90% of his flesh removed, and he just regenerated in a few panels. However, all this doesn't necessarily mean that he'll be able to hold up to a lightsaber. For starters, he really hasn't held up to heat comparable to the sun itself. While I'm sure he could if he needed to, that concentrated heat in a blade should be able to stab into him. And it's not like Hulk is immune to stabbing attacks either. He's been stabbed by the Wolverine on countless occasions, and even been stabbed by Sicarian weapons. A lightsaber should be able to stab the Hulk, although it would have to be a direct and intent stab. Glancing blow wouldn't really do anything to the big guy. However, that raises an additional question. Could Yoda actually stab the Hulk? Or stab him in a way that would do serious damage? Well, that's kind of difficult to say, because Yoda is possibly faster than the big guy, enhancing his speed with the Force, and he's surprisingly agile. And Spider-Man, Daredevil, Captain America, and Black Panther have all dodged attacks from the Hulk before, so in theory, Yoda should be able to do it as well. However, just with the size comparison, Yoda has to try really hard to get there to his head or his heart. Then it's even possible the lightsaber would be too short and couldn't penetrate Hulk's muscles and tendons. Then one hit from Hulk and Yoda's done for. And just like Daredevil, Captain America, and Spider-Man have dodged attacks from Hulk before, he's also hit them. The real way Yoda could win this fight is by using the Force, which actually works out best for the little green guy, since that's what he's most trained in. Yoda is one of the most powerful Force users in the galaxy, and that involves the ability to read minds, control them, and sense emotions. He's even managed to do this stuff with Count Dooku and Obi-Wan Kenobi, who are both remarkably resistant to Force mind powers. However, what some people might not know is that Hulk is incredibly resistant to telepathic attacks. Professor X, one of the most powerful telepaths on the planet, and a telepath definitely more powerful than Yoda, said that the Hulk's mind has always been unique, difficult to control. But I've never encountered anything like this. The rage, like an elemental force. I can't overcome it. And the feedback is enveloping everyone. Of course, he was referring to World War Hulk at the time, but you get the point. Hulk is also held up to post-hypnotic suggestions, is pretty much immune to mind control, and forced people out of his mind before. Yoda just isn't going to be able to easily control the Hulk's mind. He just isn't. I suppose one way that Yoda could win is by not treating this as a fight at all, but by realizing the anger in Yoda and Hulk's mind, and instead trying to teach Hulk how to control his rage and not succumb to the dark side. But in an actual fight, Hulk is just too much for even this Jedi Grandmaster to handle. Hulk wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts to sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe button. More videos just one every single weekday. And I'll see you next time.